It was a night boxing would never forget. Two warriors, two nations, two legacies on a collision course. From the Philippines came Manny Pacquiao, the relentless southpaw, a storm in human form. With blistering speed, devastating power, and endless stamina, he was already a rising sensation. But this night, he sought to prove he was much more. Opposite him stood Marco Antonio Barrera, Mexico's proud champion, a master technician, a legend, and one of the most respected fighters in the sport. For Barrera, this wasn't just another defense. It was about protecting his legacy against a hungry challenger who threatened to take everything. The arena pulsed with energy. Filipino fans roared with hope. Mexican supporters answered with pride. The clash wasn't just about belts. It was about honor, about proving which warrior's heart would shine brighter under the lights. As the fighters made their walk to the ring, the atmosphere was electric. Barrera's calm confidence clashed with Pacquiao's burning intensity. The crowd sensed it. This wasn't going to be ordinary. This was going to be war. When the opening bell rang, millions held their breath. Pacquiao charged forward with his trademark aggression. Barrera steadied himself with sharp counters. Every punch felt like a warning shot for what was to come. This was not a fight. This was a storm waiting to explode. From the very first round, the difference was clear. Pacquiao wasn't just fast, he was a blur, a whirlwind of fists and fury. His straight left hand cracked through Barrera's defense again and again, and the crowd gasped at the sheer speed of the Filipinos' assault. Barrera, the veteran, tried to steady the storm. He circled, countered with sharp rights, and attempted to slow down the younger man. But nothing seemed to halt Pacquiao's charge. Every time Barrera thought he had created space, Pacquiao was already there, closing the gap, unleashing punches in bunches. By the third round, the arena felt the shift. Pacquiao wasn't here to respect a legend. He was here to dismantle one. Barrera, proud and unflinching, still stood tall, but each exchange began tipping further in Manny's favor. The speed, the angles, the sheer relentlessness. It was unlike anything Barrera had faced before. In the third, a thunderous left sent Barrera to the canvas. The crowd erupted. Pacquiao's supporters roared with hope, while Barrera's fans fell silent, stunned at the sight of their hero on the floor. Yet Barrera rose, his face set in defiance. He would not surrender easily. But Pacquiao smelled blood. Every second, every punch carried more menace. The storm was no longer approaching. It had arrived, and Barrera was trapped in its center. As the fight entered the middle rounds, it was clear. Pacquiao was in control. His punches came in endless combinations. 1, 2, 3, 4, each thrown with venom, each finding its target. Barrera's legendary composure began to crack under the onslaught. Still, the Mexican warrior's pride refused to let him back down. He dug deep, tried to fire back, landing counters that in any other fight might have turned the tide. But against Pacquiao, they were swallowed by the storm. Manny simply kept coming, unfazed, relentless. By round 7, Barrera's corner looked worried. His face bore the marks of battle, swelling, cuts, the exhaustion of trying to stop a hurricane with bare hands. Pacquiao, meanwhile, looked as if he was only growing stronger. His energy was unending, his punches sharper with every passing minute. In the 11th, disaster struck. Pacquiao cornered Barrera and unleashed a flurry of punches that forced the referee to step in. Barrera, ever the warrior, tried to fight back, but the difference was undeniable. The younger man had taken over. The crowd was on its feet, half in awe, half in disbelief. They were watching the birth of something special. The legend of Manny Pacquiao was being written in real time. When the referee finally waved it off, the arena erupted into chaos. Some fans cheered wildly, others stood in shock. but everyone knew they had witnessed history. Manny Pacquiao, the hungry challenger from the Philippines, had just demolished one of Mexico's most respected legends. This was no fluke, no lucky punch. This was domination. A star had been born on that night. Barrera, battered and broken, showed the heart of a champion even in defeat. He stood tall, accepted the outcome with dignity, and proved why he was admired around the world. But his corner's decision to stop the fight was a mercy. Pacquiao was simply unstoppable. For Pacquiao, it was the breakthrough. The night he didn't just win, but announced himself to the world. His speed, his power, his ferocity, they had torn through a legend, and in doing so, forged the path of a future icon. The commentators struggled to find words. Fans replayed the knockdown, the combinations, the sheer dominance, and as Pacquiao raised his arms in victory, one truth echoed through the arena. Boxing had a new force, a new warrior, a fighter who would go on to conquer divisions, legends, and eras. That night in San Antonio, Manny Pacquiao was no longer just a contender. He was a storm. He was a legend in the making. When the final bell never came, when the referee waved his arms, the world stood frozen. The war was over. The storm had spoken. And the storm's name was Manny Pacquiao. Marco Antonio Barrera, the proud Mexican warrior, sat in his corner, battered but unbroken. He had given his heart, his soul, his pride. He had walked into fire and refused to surrender. But on this night, destiny belonged to another. His corner, with heavy hearts, stopped the fight. They knew the truth. Pacquiao was not just winning. He was overwhelming. As Pacquiao lifted his gloves to the sky, the crowd erupted. Some cheered in disbelief, others in awe, all united in the knowledge that they had just witnessed something historic. This wasn't just an upset. This wasn't just another victory. This was the night the boxing world met a storm that would conquer eras. Commentators struggled to find words. Fans replayed the knockdown, the flurries, the speed. They whispered the same thought. The world has changed tonight. For Barrera, defeat did not erase his legacy. He remained a legend, respected forever for his courage. But for Pacquiao, this was the beginning. The night a young fighter from the Philippines rose from challenger to phenomenon. The night he carved his name into the history books with fists of fire. From that night forward, Manny Pacquiao was no longer just a fighter. He was a force. He was destiny. He was legend.